hopefully. But this definitely brings us to a wider topic of hip-hop being infused with academia. Recently, Lil B spoke at Carnegie Mellon, focusing on identity and setting goals for yourself. Bun B is co-teaching a class on religion and hip-hop for the second semester at Rice University, and producer Ninth Wonder has been a Harvard Fellow with the W.E. Du Bois Institute. We've got our own piece of hip-hop academia here at UT with our first semester of our Beyonce Feminism, Rihanna Womanism class underway. By the way, midterms tomorrow, so wish me luck. Thank you. So it seems like hip-hop is kind of positioning itself to, you know, be like a really integral part of the education of our generation. Do you guys think that like there is merit to this application?
Right, pop culture is very big here, everywhere in the world, and so for you to, for them to be speaking to Ivy League schools and teaching about it, making people aware of stuff like that, I think that just speaks volumes as well. I mean, I don't know why it hasn't been done before, but you know, this label, the stereotype rapper, they're kind of breaking that barrier, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I love about this whole hip hop and academia. It's given like a legitimacy to the art form. I think I said it before. And like, yeah, man, I love like you got like academics and scholars like looking at these hip hop works, like even something recent like Good Kid, Mad City, and they're starting to analyze it as if it were something, you know, maybe a rock album. And before you wouldn't have that analysis for these hip hop works, you know, people would like shun them. And it wasn't until like people look back in retrospect that they're like, oh wow, College Dropout was that great. Oh, Illmatic was that great. But now we're having it where somebody drops something, like Kendrick Lamar drops Good Kid, Mad City, and people are like taking notice, like, wow, this is so great, you know. And so it's so cool to see this legitimacy of the art form of hip hop, you know, coming around and integrating it into academia.
Yeah, definitely. And like on like the legitimacy of it as an art form, you know, Ninth Wonder's class was about like taking like samples and using that as kind of like an intertextuality in music, and how that's basically the same thing. Like you have people that quote the Odyssey in their books, but when you use it in a soul sample, like people are like, oh, well, like what is this? Like you just ripped off someone else's music. But it's, I mean, it's the same thing, just different applications.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that, man, because I saw Michael McDonald, that dude, the soul, who made his career off of ripping off old soul songs, was talking mess about hip hop, specifically about Kanye West, saying, oh yeah, these guys just use computers and take other people's music, you know. So it kind of upsets me that there's still like that mentality of like kind of, you know, marginalized hip hop or trying to demean it, you know. Still, but at the same time, like we have this force of academia and hip hop where it's a positive thing, but we can't forget there's still people out there, old heads, who have like a really backwards mentality or like an old school mentality about it. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we just got to keep pushing for these sorts of classes, and like if there's ever one at your school, take it. I highly suggest it, highly recommend it. But on the subject of Ninth Wonder, he once said a few really great words about Iggy Azalea, which if you care enough, you can go look them up. They're great. But speaking of everyone's favorite Australian who recently abandoned social media, we're going to do just a really quick wrap-up of hip-hop social media. So, Iggy, you know, Iggy's boyfriend and also the Lakers shooting guard Nick Young recently defended her after ESPN correspondent Robert Flores said that she was trying to kill hip-hop. Iggy has been absent from social media since the Grammys, and her favorite feuder, Azalea Banks, also gave up Twitter for Lent, coming back briefly to praise last week's episode of SNL for their Iggy Azalea show sketch. But most importantly for me, Waka Flocka Flame canceled his upcoming performance at OU's SAE fraternity. You know which one. The one with the extremely racist video that surfaced this week. He performed there last year, but has now said that he will not perform there and does not tolerate racism on his Instagram. If I miss anything, tweet us at Longhorn Hip Hop or check out the Longhorn Hip Hop Tumblr and put us on blast. I'm Ian DeVogler. We'll be right back, but don't go too far. Up next, we're going to do the rundown of the must-see artists of South by Southwest, so you know you want to catch that. See y'all after the break.